Right, what a wonderful start. I was caught out of left field there, but anyway, we're rolling, and don't forget the Premier League has started. It's off to a grand start for all of us except the Spurs supporters. And three teams, Bud, they got promoted or got beat.
Yeah, well, the Leeds played well, the other two were woeful.
Yeah. Before we get Stevie B on the line, just to remind you, it starts this Saturday, the last one standing. Get your bets in. And try and go a bit further than Stevie B goes, and you can take as many as you like, but it's never easy. And Budge, it should be very interesting this year with the two, Man City and Man United coming in.
Yeah, well, that's why we stalled it the extra week, Paul. And also to give the guys a week to have a look at the teams. I want to see how many go on to Leeds. They're impressive last week, even though they conceded 4. So there's been a few guys already jump on them, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, with Norwich's first game last year, they played well against Liverpool.
Yes, got beat 5-1 now.
Yeah, they looked good for half a game. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get Stevie on. We've got a few things to talk about. Is Steve B in the house?
I am. Good morning.
Morning, Stevie. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good
All
man.
right, Steve, I'm
man.
sure you're in London. Talking to London, what's happening with Gareth Bale of Spurs? I hear they're the only people that want him, but is that true?
I've got a feeling that if they could afford him, I think Inter Milan would like him, but they haven't got the money for it. So, I think as things stand, it's Tottenham or nobody, really. So, there was obviously talk earlier about United, but I don't think they're actually in for him. United pretty much said that they never firmed any offer up. So, at the end of the day, he wants to play football. He's not going to play under Zidane. So, he really does need to leave. I'm not quite sure, what the delay is, other than it's just about money, as these things are.
Yeah, you think it'd be a good signing for Spurs?
Brilliant.
Well, they need. They need something. It could go either two ways. Either he's going to come back and he's going to rekindle some of that form he had before, and get things going, or the worry is sometimes, obviously they say you should never always go back, but it might upset the dynamic of the changing room. So we just don't know. He's more than capable. He hasn't played apart from turning out for Wales, not fully match fit. I'm reading this morning that he said it could be a month before he's really ready to go. So he's not as if he's going to come in and hit the ground running in the Premier League. So I think a deal is there to be done in the next literally 24, 48 hours.
Oh, excellent. We need the boost, and also, Stevie, they're looking at the Real Madrid left back. He looks useful.
Yeah, I think it looks like Tottenham could be favourites. I think United were looking at him. It looks like Tottenham are favourites, and rumour is he's in London for a medical today. So I think that's certainly an area they need to strengthen as well. I think, I think Daniel Levy obviously realised that they need to do something. There was something completely off with their second half performance last week. So
yes.
I think they do need a bit of boost.
Yeah. Have you been watching that the show on, what is it, Amazon Prime's excellent?
Yeah, a little bit of it.
I've watched it all.
These things are so, you don't really want to air everything outside. Sometimes you don't want to see what goes on behind the scenes if they're not actually always that complimentary. And
Stevie, warts and all, Stevie, you bloody posh English people don't like to bloody show your underwear. Yeah. Have a go, tell it like it is, but I've been very impressed with Mourinho in the program and the facilities.
He's not afraid of publicity, is he? So,
no, that's right.
All right. Steve, talking of publicity, are there any other major signings on the horizon?
Well, I think there will still be some, because obviously the window is still open for 3 weeks, and we know that it can be disruptive. So there will be some. I think, especially those teams who maybe don't start that well are going to be thinking, we need to get players in. And the same with Fulham. I mean, we're still desperately looking for a centre back and link with one or two. I think there seems to be a lot of speculation about James Tarkowski. West Ham want him, but I understand Leicester are very much looking for a centre-back to come in. I think there will be some movement. United, obviously, have got to do some business.
Yeah.
So, as each day passes, I think the chances of getting Jadon Sancho seem to be diminishing. And if that's the case, they need to look elsewhere. But certainly, they're being linked with defenders, but nothing sort of concrete. But I think United fans, I know yourself, Budge, thinking that they've got to strengthen at the back.
Yeah, no doubt. Talking of Leeds, Steve, not the best performance. Sorry, Fulham, they're not the best of performances last week. How do you see yourself going at Leeds?
Yeah, I mean, we brought 5 new players in, none of whom were able to start last week. We played 4 of them last night at Ipswich. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he moves things around yet. I mean, I don't think he knows his best 11 yet, and we've still got to bring players in. But I think we might see at least 2, maybe 3 of the new players starting. I think they'll put up... They didn't play badly against Arsenal, but there was no cutting edge because Mitrovic wasn't available to start. He will start at Leeds. I think it'll be a closer game than people think. I know Leeds played well at Liverpool, but was that down to the way they played or the fact that Liverpool were very complacent at the back? So I think it'll be a close game. I think Leeds will probably edge it, but I don't think there'll be much in it.
Yeah, I just hope you don't start playing out from the back too early. You play the lesser teams maybe, but against Arsenal, the top teams, get to half time or the 30 minutes, it's 0-0, you're in the game. But you can't play like that against the better teams. Give them a goal. You can't chase.
I mean, I think the point is as well, you make a mistake and you get punished for it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's, and that was our undoing last Saturday. But, we'll see. It's early days.
Yeah.
But obviously what we don't want to do is to start off with a few defeats and then the window, you get to the last few days of the window and we sort of panic buy, which is a bit really what happened 2 years ago. We ended up bringing hatfuls of players in the last few days and the team didn't gel.
Yeah. Well, one team that brought a hatful of players and got a good result was Everton. You think they'll be too good for West Brom?
I think so, yeah.
So
I thought I was very impressed with the second half performance. It's interesting because they brought, Ancelotti threw all his new players in and they really did play. And, people wondering how James Rodriguez would do, but he looked a class apart on the pitch.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be strong. Look, the board have backed him. They're still, I understand they're still talking with Chelsea about possible loan of Tamori, but we'll see. But they did look strong. I think they will be offloading a number of players. So players like Gylfi Sigurdsson and Fabian Delph, they pretty much told that they're not first choice now. So I think they want to get some money in for those because they've spent a lot on their 3 key midfield players.
Yeah, they were on last night. We had them on the League Cup. They had a really strong team out, but you could see it. I don't think it was anybody that played. I think Michael King could have been the exceptional one that played against Tottenham. The rest were all new players.
They're all new faces. Yeah. How did they finish up?
They
won easy.
3-0.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a strong squad, but I think they've got too many. And I think and there will be players who won't want to sit on the bench or not play.
Yeah.
So I think they will ease some of their high-wage sort of older players out.
All right. Talking of the League Cup, we never had the game on, but Southampton picked a strong team. Just as well I went for a beer, I was going to back them. They got beat by Brentford.
They did, and I think that was a bit of a shock. So Ralph Hasenhüttl evidently had sort of picked pretty much his strongest 11.
Yeah, looked at
I think he was disappointed with the way they played at Crystal Palace, and it backfired. They were outplayed at home by Brentford.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it happened. They finished really strongly last season, and yet they've started with a whimper this season. So, you never quite know. That little sort of 5-6 week gap has something. And Danny Ings sort of wasn't firing, even though it looked like everything he touched turned to gold at the end of last season. So, I think he'll be very disappointed with that.
And you think Spurs will beat them? They're playing the Europa League tonight.
Well, yeah, I think, they've left a number of players at home, Spurs, so they haven't taken their full squad because I think he's obviously conscious of the fact they have a tough game at Southampton. Yeah. I think that will be close. I mean, at one point I might have said, Southampton might pip that, but that was a really poor performance from them last night.
Yeah.
I think that this one could go either way. You really can because Tottenham have got to play better than they did last weekend against Everton. I thought in the first half they had some chances, but some wrong decisions. But after the second half, they just seemed to
fell away,
lose their shape.
Yeah.
So I think they can bounce. I mean, look, they've got the players to bounce back. So I don't think Spurs will lose, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay, now a team that did get a good result last week was Arsenal, who beat your boys. West Ham were woeful. Do you think that's another easy victory?
I don't say easy because West Ham are a funny side sometimes. They pick up results you don't expect. But Arsenal look very strong, and I think they've also got they've got Aubameyang signing a new contract yesterday.
I saw that, yeah.
I think it's really good news for them. I thought the new signing Gabriel, after a blooper in the first minute, looked really strong. That looks a really good buy for sort of 20-odd million for a young Brazilian centre half. I think he's going to, he could be a mainstay of the defence for a long time. They look good to me, and I think Arteta's got them playing well. So I think they will be too strong for West Ham.
All right. The big game of the weekend is Chelsea versus Liverpool. How do you see that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I wasn't as impressed with Chelsea. I know they won 3-1, but until the second goal went in, I thought that Brighton really played well.
Yes.
It was a wonderful effort from Reece James, and after that was fine. But I think Frank Lampard knows himself. It's still going to be a few weeks before he beds in his new players, and he's got one or two out as well. This game might have come a little bit too early for them. But then, if you look at the way Liverpool defended last Saturday evening, and you're thinking, they can't be doing this on a regular basis because So I think Liverpool probably will be too strong for Chelsea. But I think some of the Liverpool players need to step their game up. Apart from Salah, who I thought was exceptional. He was the difference, because without him they probably wouldn't have won. But I think players just seem to, whether they were just a bit complacent or just sort of brushing those cobwebs off, but I think they had a bit of a wake-up call. So I think they'll be tighter at the back. Again, they haven't played this week, so they've had a few days to rest. So I think they, again, I can't see Chelsea winning that, but I think it'll be close.
All right, Steve, on to the Championship. A team that are back to get promotion last year had a terrible start. Luton played Derby County. How do you see that going?
Luton have had a very good start. They've won all their 3 league and cup games, scoring goals. Stayed up, with a good run at the end. Derby, something's not quite right there. They've sold they're 2 young, promising fullbacks. Yeah. They've got some young players that had a bit of a clear out. I just fancy that Luton. I just think that they're on a little bit of a run. I think got something to prove, and it's a tight little ground there at Kenilworth Road. I think Luton could upset the odds there.
Okay, well, your best bit of the last weekend arrived, Bournemouth. How do you see them going at Middlesbrough?
Yeah, it wasn't an easy win, but they did, and they played well against Crystal Palace in the Cup week, and that was a great penalty shootout. Went to 11-10.
Who won?
Middlesbrough, you're not sure what you're going to get with them. At home they just seem to struggle.
Yes.
They didn't play that well at Watford last Friday, and they lost in the League Cup this week. Bournemouth have kept, majority of their squad together so far. I think they probably might be a little bit too strong for Borough.
Okay, now my boys Preston, disastrous home effort last week against the Norwich team, where everybody fancies to come straight back up. Steve, easy victory for the Canaries?
Yeah, I wouldn't say easy. Preston had a good win in the Cup. I know Derby had a player sent off, but they did well to come back. I think that Norwich probably will be too strong. Again, they sold 1 or 2, but they've kept a lot of their squad together, although I think some Premier League teams are looking at Buendia, who sort of made it clear he doesn't really fancy Championship football. But I think I would expect Norwich to be too strong.
Sadly, Sheffield Wednesday, you called it last week, 12-point deduction, a great win at Cardiff. Can they upset Watford?
They've had I think they can. I think there's some, listening to what's coming out of the camp there, there's a lot of determination. They've won a couple of cup games. They've got a relatively strong squad, and I think they want to try and make up that 12 points. I think Watford has still got a lot of players out. Yeah. I know they won last week. They struggled. They got through on penalties at Oxford. But I've got a feeling Wednesday might be a little bit too strong.
Okay, and Sunday, Stoke City versus Bristol City?
Yeah, I think this will be a tight game. Bristol City have just loaned a couple of Fulham players. Stephen Sessignon, Ryan's twin brother, and Alfie Mawson have gone there.
Oh, okay.
As well as Thomas Callis, who was at Fulham previously. I think that Bristol City might find that they're going to have a decent run. They're going to be close to the playoffs. So I think there'll be a tight game. Stoke got a points away last week. I think we're probably looking at a draw or possibly an away win there.
All right, Steve. Now, pressure time again. You're successful last week. Need your best bet and your best value bet.
I'm going to go for Luton Town. I just think that they could upset Derby. There's something not quite right at Derby at the moment, and I just think Luton are going to go for it. And then my value bet, I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday. I think they've started strongly. There's a lot of determination about them, and I think they could upset Watford.
Yes, all right. 16-10 and 19-10, Steve. Thank you very much. I won't ask you about the cricket last night, but...
No, well, again, they had the game won. They didn't look like they'd lost. Got 2 late wickets, should have won it, and then it was a gamble in the last over that didn't pay off. But it's been
great
good.
series.
It's good to see cricket. It has been a good summer of cricket.
Yep.
Right, Steve, get studying, pal.
Last one standing, Steve. You've got to try and keep the Lafferty crew in the competition.
I know. I think whoever I back seems to be the kiss of death for them. And Tottenham have let me down so many times, so I won't be picking them this week. But I'm
go pick Fulham then. Go pick Fulham.
Yeah, that would be very brave. I would pick Fulham if it was the last week of the competition. I had nobody else. So, I'm going to go for Everton.
Yeah, I thought you'd.
Okay, I thought, well, good start. Nail your colours to the mast.
Get
Well
your
done,
WhatsApp
Stevie,
through, Steve, and
those
I
bloody
agree.
4 guys that are sponsored from the UK better raise their game. I'm going to have a stern word with them. All right, Stevie.
I know that one of the UK guys has basically said he'll be pretty much backing any team that plays Fulham this season. So let's hope if he does that this week, he goes out.
Ooh, the Egyptian. Yeah.
All right, Steve,
okay,
all
Stevie,
the best.
thanks very much.
All right. Nice
okay, cheers. Bye-bye. Right, let's get on to the football. Last one standing starts. Some serious games.
Yeah, first game is the opener, Paul. Lunchtime Saturday, Everton.
Everton, who Stevie B's picked. West Brom, who won comfortably last night.
No, they got... Oh, sorry,
they won comfortably last night. They didn't look strong enough for me when I watched them.
Well, the first half against Leicester, because that was my best bet, Leicester, last week. And I thought they more than held their own, but the moment they went 1-0 down, they seemed to collapse. A lot of young players, and I watched them towards the end of the championship season, and I wasn't impressed.
No, I don't think he's got enough quality.
He's going to have to get somebody. I think he signed the ex-Chelsea centre-half who's come from Zenit. But they've got no chance. I think when the guys put the slides up, I think Everton will be too good for them,
The championship clash, Leeds and Fulham.
Paul, for me, I think if Fulham sit back, and wait for Leeds to come on to them, I think they're okay. The odds are up now. Everyone's diving into 6-10 leads. They were impressive last week going forward. Yeah. Defensively, they're woeful. Now, remember this game last year, Leeds beat Fulham 3-0, but they scored 2 goals from Fulham's corners. They caught them on the break. This will be a lot closer, Paul. I don't see Leeds getting beat, but I wouldn't be flying in to take 6-10 Leeds. I'd rather take the 5-10 Everton, but on last week's performance, they were by far the better team.
Man United play Saturday at 6:30.
It's 6:30, Paul.
They should be stronger.
We should be. They should be a little bit fresher. But last year we got beat. This is one of the games Achaya threw one in. Got beat 2-1. Palace had a good start, Paul. Yeah. But haven't got many players. They won. I think they beat Bournemouth on penalties, but they didn't play many of their first team players. But United want us through. We want to be top 4 contenders again. We've got to win this, Paul.
You've got to win games like this. Yeah. I think Arsenal will beat West Ham.
Even
though derbies are tight.
Yeah, Paul, I remember Petr Cech's first game for Arsenal was against West Ham. He threw 2 in. Dimitri Payet played. Everyone said no one had heard of him. So they're always capable at West Ham, but the signs coming out of the club, Paul, is not good. You've got to fancy Arsenal.
Moyes must be thinking, I've got to produce something.
He's under pressure, Paul. But
I think Spurs will bounce back. Paul, I wasn't impressed with Southampton.
No, that was a game I watched.
I was impressed at the end of the last season, which wasn't that long ago. But they wasn't impressed. They weren't impressive in the League Cup. They're going to be revved up. There's got to be a knee-jerk reaction. But then they're getting the same knee-jerk reaction.
Last night's result, it was a bad result. As I said, went for a beer, and I was going to back them, but I missed the time. And I had a look at the team. They had the best team out. Yeah. And Brentford, according to Steve, beat them fair and square. Yeah. So this is a great chance for Tottenham to get back. It's a good price, Paul. Yeah. I think the more Tottenham play, especially in the Europa League, you give the squad players a game, so you keep the harmony. Yeah. So great chance to get back to winning ways for Spurs.
Okay, now Newcastle beat West Ham.
Yeah.
go in against Brighton, who I thought looked well, even though they got drubbed.
Paul, you have a look at the goals. First one was a penalty, a terrible mistake in the midfield. The boy Reece James scores a screamer. The goal with the third goal from a corner was a deflection.
Yeah.
I thought I like Graham Potter.
Brighton had a free header at 2-1. That was harder to miss.
Harder to miss, yeah.
Harder to miss.
I think this is a closer game. I like the draw in this game, Paul. I think there'll be a couple of goals.
Okay, draw.
But I don't see Brighton. Everyone, Newcastle, good things. I've got my doubt.
I've got
Brighton
big
will give them a
doubt.
game. Draw for me there.
How about Chelsea-Liverpool?
Paul, sometimes
London,
the hype.
eh?
Yeah, it's Liverpool cannot defend how they did.
Yes.
Because one thing about Chelsea, they've got good midfield players that can play on the ball.
Yeah.
But at the back, they're woeful.
Liverpool tighten up. They're not
Yeah.
champions for nothing. They've got Virgil van Dijk who's going to be revving them. The boss will be revving them. I'm tipping a draw.
Yeah, I can see Liverpool winning this, Paul.
Okay.
For the league, I hope they don't. And I've got two brothers that support Liverpool. They've had a lot to say lately. But
Very much so.
top four. This is a test for Frank Lampard. He spent a lot of money. Let's have a look. I like the guy up front, Werner, Paul. He makes great runs. If they can feed him, he'll catch
Also
Liverpool.
talk on the penalty. Did he take a dive?
I think he got caught, Paul, but I think he was looking for it.
He was looking for it. It looked like he might not have been caught by
The
Ryan.
goalkeeper, don't.
He did this to go to at the last minute.
But because the forwards now are dragging their foot,
That's it.
and they're banging, they're getting caught penalty. But they were never going to overturn
That's
it.
wrong, man. She says he's never going to score there.
No.
But anyway, who knows? That's what they're doing at the moment. Interesting game. Leicester, great start. They need to capitalise. Burnley's first game.
Yeah, Burnley. Got a funny feeling. This is a draw written all over it, Paul.
So I've got
I wasn't
3
impressed
draws
with
on my
Leicester.
sheet.
I know Madison, come on, but if he's not fit, so they're going to bring
He's a
him
lovely
on.
player.
Yeah, at the back they're woeful. I didn't like the creativity in the middle of Park, Leicester.
They got Ndidi centre half.
Yeah, because the other boys, I think Johnny Evans, got sent off against Man United. Remember the last game, he can't play. They're looking for a centre half. I think this could have an upset written all over. I know Burnley play tonight. They play Sheffield United in the League Cup. But I wasn't impressed with Leicester, Paul. I can't take 6-10 Leicester.
Okay. The Villa boys?
I wasn't impressed. I watched them the other night playing Burton. They were like cruising around. Now they saved. I think this is my outsider of the weekend, Paul. Sheffield United. I know they got beat by Wolves, but they were in the game the whole way. I like that coach. He'll have them fired up. I just hope he rests his main players tonight in the League Cup against Burnley. Because if he does, I'm going to be all over Sheffield United. So Monday night game, I think their work rate will be too much for Villa.
What about Wolves?
I think this is another game. They beat Man City twice last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a dangerous team. I know they were a little bit sluggish against Sheffield United. They scored
had
2
no
great
friendlies.
goals.
They had no friendlies,
Yeah. Paul, don't be surprised if this game ends up in a draw.
We've got a few draws called
Yeah.
this week. Okay. Right, let's go Championship.
Yeah.
Budge, what's the story of Coventry? What are they like?
Yeah. Well, I went for them last week. I think they got beat 2-1 by Bristol City, where QPR beat Forest. Forest bury me every season. But, it's hard without having a look at them. This is on. So Coventry have got a good home record. They play at Birmingham's ground, St Andrews. They don't play at home.
Okay.
So, this will be
the Sky Blues.
Sky Blues,
Sky
yeah.
Blues.
Mark Robbins, the ex-Man United striker.
Boy, you saved the job.
Boy, you saved Fergie's job in the cup. Well, I fancy the home team. QPR away from home have been woeful. But haven't watched many of the championship games, so it's really hard to make a call on that
Okay.
one.
Notts Forest got to get back on track as well.
Both teams disappointing
Cardiff,
losses last week. Forest lost at QPR, and Cardiff got beat at home.
Sheffield wins it.
And I fancy Forest to the 2 teams, all 15
Okay,
10 for me
we'll
there.
put your markings down.
Yeah.
Blackburn, how are they looking?
Well, they scored 2 goals against
Bournemouth
last week. At home, they always score goals. Wickham with Stevie's each way bet. The guy missed an absolute sitter at 0-0. Got beat 1-0 late on rather than beat them. 5-10 is very short, Paul, so I've looked at the goal markets in that particular clash.
Will you take 5-10 Brentford?
Until last night, no. But it seems, it depends on who's going to go.
Yeah.
But Huddersfield are terrible. They got beat at Norwich at home. 5-10, Paul. I'd be looking -1, something like that, to get like 12-13 at 10. But they should beat Huddersfield.
Luton Town, great start.
Yeah, I
Derby
fancy
County
Luton.
have to turn it around now.
Well, I looked at the team on Saturday. I thought they would do well. In the League Cup, their first game, they played Barrow. They won on penalties.
I'm just an old Barrow boy.
Oh, Barrow boy, yeah. Paul, I fancy Luton. They're in our bets. Derby cost me money last year, going to give them a playoff place. Ended up terribly. Rooney started against Preston in the Cup. So we'll be interesting to see if he starts playing. But of the two teams, I like Luton.
All right, now how about if they're going to keep marching on Bournemouth?
Yeah.
They've got to win here.
Well,
15,
tough game,
16,
Paul.
yeah,
You know, I watched the Middlesbrough
15,
Watford
16
game.
to 10, 17 to 10 in
There
fact.
wasn't much in Middlesbrough Watford. You know, Watford scored from a corner. I know they're
Yes.
missing a lot of the players. Bournemouth, I saw the highlights against Blackburn. The goalkeeper looks, I don't know if he's allowed to use his hands. He dived over the first one. But this is a tough game, Paul. Yeah, I think it draws a player in there.
Okay. Norwich.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Our boys cost us dearly last week.
You lost to Norwich.
No, we got beat at home. We got beat by Swansea 1-0. Never
1-0.
looked like scoring. Norwich beat Huddersfield 1-0 last week. Paul, it should be Norwich. They've got Pookie.
Yeah.
But, you know, we normally play quite well at Norwich. I've thrown the draw in, but it should be Norwich, Paul.
Okay. Reading Barnsley.
Reading had a great result last week, winning 2-0 at Derby. Barnsley got beat by Luton. Yeah, they've got a new manager. They fired Mark Bowen, the Welshman, Reading.
Yeah.
They've got a guy come from America. So 14 to 10. But a lot of these teams, Paul, I'd wait a week or two just to see the form be consistent before flying in. But, Reading of the two teams for me there.
Well, Rotherham.
Yeah.
They lost to Wickham.
Yeah, I don't
So
see...
and Millwall drew with
Stoke City.
So none of them have scored a goal.
None of them have scored the goal. I like Millwall of the two teams, Paul.
Okay.
You know, they're drawing Millwall there. It'd be a tight game, low-scoring game. That's what it looks like on form. But a draw in Millwall for me there.
Sheffield Wednesday, they won 2-0.
Yeah, 19 to 10 looks a big price, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, Watford, I watched them last Friday against Middlesbrough. They weren't impressive. I know they had a lot of people out. But, you know, of that Cleverly, they had the goalkeeper, Foster, Craig, ex-Man United.
They've just got the bulk of a squad from Premier League.
Yeah, but a lot of them are injured. You know, Troy Deeney's injured. Delafar's not playing. Sar's not playing.
No one bought those guys.
So I think they're sitting waiting. A lot of them are injured. But for me, if Sheffield Wednesday in the draw there, Paul, but it's a 1-2-3 in all exotics.
Okay, let's look at the championship game against Swansea
Yeah, I
versus
fancy
Birmingham.
Swansea, Paul. You know, Birmingham had a great result last week, but I saw the highlights. They beat Brentford. Brentford missed chance after chance, hit the bar twice. Karanka is a manager of Birmingham City. That's Mourinho's old partner, Real Madrid. So he'll keep them tight. But Swansea got to the playoff last year, Paul, and 11 to 10 looks a nice price.
Okay, and then Stoke City.
I like Stoke City against Millwall. They're the better team. Yeah, they play tonight. They play Wolves in the League Cup tonight. Well, they're my best bet of the weekend.
Okay.
You know, Bristol City have done well, mainly at home. But I like Stoke. I watched them towards the end of last year at home. Michael O'Neill, the ex-Northern Ireland manager's got them right. 11 to 10, Paul. That's my bet of the weekend.
Okay, let's look at your sixes now.
Well, kick-off obviously in England. Our banker needs to beat Fulham. I've gone the field in the Luton Derby game. Likewise, Middlesbrough Bournemouth. And also Sheffield Wednesday Watford, because I think United will beat Palace and Arsenal will be too good for West Ham, 162.
Okay.
The second one includes a few Italian and a Portuguese game. I've gone the field in the Fiorentino-Torino game. I bank in Man United to beat Palace. I've gone Roma, win and draw at Hellas Verona. I've gone the field in the Celta Vigo Valencia fixture. Bank at Arsenal to beat West Ham, and I've thrown the draw in with Porto, first league weekend against Sporting Braga.
Okay, so those are two sixes. Let's look at the 10.
On to the 10, I bank it. Leeds to beat Fulham. I've gone Luton, win and draw at home against Derby County. I've gone the field in the Middlesbrough Bournemouth game. I've gone Norwich, win and draw at home against Preston. I've gone the field in the Sheffield Wednesday versus Watford match. I've gone Reading, win and draw at home against Barnsley. Banked Brentford to beat Huddersfield. I've gone Swansea, win and draw at home against Birmingham. And ended with two bankers, Man United to beat Palace and Arsenal to beat West Ham, 288.
Okay, and then we're going
On to the 13, Paul. Yeah, a lot of bankers here. I think United will be too good for Crystal Palace. I think Arsenal will beat West Ham. I bank it Leeds to beat Fulham. I think Blackburn will beat Wickham. Also think Brentford will be too good for Huddersfield. I've gone Luton Town, win and draw at home against Derby. I've gone the field in the Middlesbrough versus Bournemouth clash. A second page, I've thrown the draw in with Norwich, win and draw against Preston. I've gone Reading, win and draw at home against Barnsley. I've sided with Millwall to avoid defeat at Rotherham. I've gone the field in the Sheffield Wednesday Watford match, and bank at Swansea to beat Birmingham City and Jan Kopping Sodra to beat Osters, 288.
Lovely, Budge. Okay. Right, let's look at your bets now.
Yeah.
This is always interesting.
Yeah, I started off in the Premiership. I've gone Everton to beat West Brom and over 2.5 total goals.
Okay.
I've gone Sheffield United to win at Aston Villa. And I'm going for Timo Werner to score any time against Liverpool. He's just over 15-10. The way Liverpool defend, and he's a clever player, I think he'll score 2,900 to 200. On to the Championship. I've gone Luton Town to win at home against Derby. I've gone Stoke City to win at home against Bristol City. I've gone over 2.5 goals, Blackburn versus Wickham, and Brentford versus Huddersfield. 20-1, 4,000 to 200.
Okay, the next one.
I win and draw. Yeah, I fancy a few outsiders this week, Paul. I've gone Burnley to win and draw, or win or draw at Leicester. I don't see Sheffield United losing at Aston Villa. I think Wolves can cause an upset at home on Monday against Man City.
Okay.
And I don't see Luton losing at home to Derby County. 2,300 to 200. Both teams to score sides are Chelsea Liverpool, Newcastle Brighton, Southampton Tottenham, Wolves Man City, and Middlesbrough Bournemouth. 3,400 to 200.
Okie dokie. Now
Spanish
the
quartet is back. Yep, I'm going Granada to win at home against Alaves. I'm going newly promoted Huesca to beat Cadiz. I'm going over 2.5 goals, Real Sociedad versus Real Madrid. And Celta Vigo versus Valencia, 3,100 to 200. Collis King, 6 or
Yeah,
Nixa.
Collis King.
I'm going Arsenal to beat West Ham, Everton to beat West Brom, Stoke City to beat Bristol City. I'm going Granada to beat Alaves, Juventus to beat Sampdoria, and Eintracht Frankfurt to beat Arminia Bielefeld, 4,200 to 200.
Okie dokie. 3 teams from the UK. Well, there we go, Budge. What are your best bets?
Well, my best bet is Stoke City on Sunday to win at home against Bristol
And your
City.
value bet?
My value bet is Sheffield United to beat Villa. That's on Monday night.
Okie dokie. Send those WhatsApps out.
Yep, they'll be going out, Paul.
And last one standing, try and get a trip overseas to watch the team. I see they're opening up air travel all the time. So until next time, stay on side.